you know, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there.
Thank you for all the work you've been doing, and I am so sorry about what we saw yesterday. Is just disgusting. It was.
Today, the left feels totally vindicated in calling Donald Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden an homage to Nazism. I mean, after all the racist, sexist, bigot, homophobes got together and laughed at a joke about Puerto Rico. Not Puerto Ricans, but Puerto Rico in general, right? Tony Hinchcliffe came out, gave a small set where he made fun of pretty much everything, and then, of course, the left had a huge meltdown because they can't laugh at anything and have no sense of humor. So all of the mainstream media, of course, got their marching orders, and this one guy made one joke, and it was maybe offensive to one person. So, of course, that's the main talking point all day today, and the left is completely melting down over it as if it's some kind of big deal, as if the vast majority of Americans don't understand that it was a joke and no one really cares about it whatsoever. But that's not going to stop Mika Brzezinski from breaking down into tears. But before we get to this clip, please like and comment on the video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Yesterday's Trump rally from hell at Madison Square Garden. So what did you make of it?
Well, I think it was everything that you need to know about Donald Trump in one weird white nationalist Nazi type rally. And of course, there's historic parallels to where and when this happened. But even more so, it also points out everything that we know, but it's important to act on right now because this is the moment and we won't have it again. Nobody gets a pass trashing America. Puerto Rican Americans, nobody gets a pass degrading people. Nobody gets a pass degrading legal migrants and terrorizing people. Nobody gets a pass threatening his enemies with using the military against them. Nobody gets a pass on inciting an insurrection. Nobody gets a pass on saying he fancies Hitler and wants to have generals like his. Nobody gets a pass on insulting veterans and saying those who died for our country are suckers and losers, except for convicted felon Donald Trump. And guys, here's the warning. You all have set it up, but let me take it a step further, please, if I may. This is called normalization. This is the descent into fascism, if we so choose. Normalizing January 6th, it's a day of love. It's a day of love. I'll say it again and again and again. Normalizing enemy from within. I'll say it again and again. I'll say it again and again until you get tired of it, until it's not so funny anymore, or you think he doesn't mean it until you realize he does mean it and it's too late. Saying these strict abortion bans are a beautiful thing. Are you kidding me? We got to wake up. And here's the good news, because I come with such dire warnings, and I mean them from the bottom of my heart as a daughter of refugees who came here escaping war, came here for America to be a part of a democracy, to be a part of building something beautiful where they could be free. I'm telling you, the good news is that I believe women will be the beacon in this election.
I hope so. And speaking about women,
and Mika, you're a Latina woman, you gotta go with your stilettos on.
I know. Thank you for all the work you've been doing, and I am so sorry about what we saw yesterday. Is just disgusting.
It was despicable.
Sick.
So Mika Brzezinski from The Morning Joe joins the cast of The View, and you can practically smell the menopause in the air, right? It's dripping from every single pore. And she mentions in passing that very thing we talked about earlier, right? This was an homage to Nazism, because all the way back in like 1935 or something, there was a rally there. Well, guess what's happened since? Bill Clinton actually had his acceptance speech there back in the 90s, okay? Many rock bands like Kiss performed there. Are they all homages to Nazism simply because they went to one of the most famous venues in the entire world, in one of the most famous cities in the entire world? No, Mika, it makes zero sense. But she talks about normalization, right? We're going to normalize all of these horrible things that Donald Trump is saying. Okay, how about we're normalizing all the terrible things on the left? We're normalizing men competing in women's sports. We're normalizing doing this whole gender transition confusion with kids. We're normalizing open borders with millions of illegals coming into this country. We're normalizing people being killed and murdered and maimed by those illegals. And I hope you're right about women being a beacon in this election, because I'm sure they're sick and tired of living in these violent cities. I'm sure they're sick and tired of their kids being exposed to the worst possible things. I'm sure they're sick and tired of being taken advantage of by a Democrat system who thinks that all they care about is abortion. And I'm sure they're sick and tired of paying all these exorbitant prices at the grocery store. And I bet if you asked your immigrant parents who came here legally, that they would probably agree with everything I just said, because you're now standing up for the most fringe part of our society.
So this is the Wall Street Journal. They just have the big picture, but they say economists warn of potential for inflation following election. You can look at that one.
Sure.
This is the MAGA Square Garden.
MAGA Square Garden. That's
MAGA Square Garden.
That's a great one, actually. That's the roof.
Fears over what follows Election Day. So we're into the fear category.
On both sides, yeah.
Washington Post.
You got the Daily News.
Interesting. We haven't talked about the Washington Post, by the way, and everything that's going on over there.
Daily News has racist rally.
Racist rally.
So, time out. But before you go any further. Well, you were there. Were you there for the whole time? I was there the entire time. So, to the New York Daily News, is it a racist rally if you have a black man from Florida who's originally from New York speaking at the rally? I don't think so. This is the problem with most media today. They're too busy trying to fearmonger everything it's instead of actually talking about the facts and the substance. It was a great rally last night. Donald Trump obviously spoke. Did he say something that was off color? No, he did not. I spoke. Did I say something off color? No, I did not. Eric Trump, Laura Trump, Don Trump Jr., Elon Musk, Howard Lutnick. Did they say anything that was off color? No, they did not.
Distanced himself from the comedian who was there and the comments that he made.
I didn't agree with the comedian said. None of us did. When it came out, we were all like,
distanced himself.
Yeah, of course. We were all like, wait, what? Who? Did that get up? No. Nobody agreed with that. Nobody. But it was period. Full
people
stop.
Say I saw.
But he's also a comedian. We didn't control.
But it was in the prompter. Did the campaign know it was going to be in the teleprompter?
The prompter was not used by everybody.
It wasn't used by everybody.
No, everybody did not use the prompter. Some people used the teleprompter. I didn't use the teleprompter. Some people did. Some people didn't.
Okay, but so the Associated Press, Trump's Madison Square Garden event features crude and racist insults. That did happen. You may not have been the one making them, but that did happen.
And Becky just said it. The campaign has distanced themselves from it. They do not agree.
I understand.
I do not agree.
I have a question.
Unfortunately, it was said. But nobody agrees with that.
But I have a question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
And this is what I think. To the extent that there are folks who, by the way, may agree with the policies of Trump,
yes,
but don't want to vote for Trump, and those you know some of those people. The reason that they don't want to vote for Trump is because they see, either in his character or the people who seem to support him, seem to be engaged in that or willing to engage in that, right? Because what you don't see, you don't go to other rallies for Harris or see in a Harris rally that kind of vitriol. It just you see. Look,
you don't?
I don't think you do.
Kamala Harris spends half her time talking about her rival as Hitler, after he's been. There have been attempts on his life, not once, but twice. She's doing it right now. Every Democrat official at these rallies refers to him as Adolf Hitler. You got Hillary Clinton running around there hawking her book that nobody wants to buy, frankly. And she's talking about how this is akin to 1939. Are you out of your mind? You want to talk about rhetoric? Let's compare. But let me go back. We are talking about the comments of a comedian. Right. And everybody's going to forget it in 48 hours. The real joke in America is the terrible policy of Kamala Harris. Let's talk specifically about Puerto Ricans in America today. Puerto Ricans have had to live under the same inflation unleashed by Kamala Harris. And that's not a joke, but they got to live with it. Puerto Ricans today are living under the same terrible border policies that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris unleashed. That's a terrible joke on the American people. We should be focused on that.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that front. I'm just saying, to the extent that you can speak to those people who are out there watching who say, you know what, I agree with the Trump policies, but I just can't abide by reading headlines like that.
In America today, and I don't want not to cut you off, but in America today, we have to decide, are we going to be trapped by the headlines of a media who, quite frankly, is in the tank one way or the other, or are we going to look at the actual policies that matter in your life? No, because this matters. You can't take it out. But you
take the headlines out.
But you can't. You raise headlines. You can't take it out. We have to decide as Americans: are we going to be caught up in what media says to us, or are we going to talk about the reality facing our nation? And the reality facing our nation is we are seriously in decline because of terrible leadership in Washington, D.C. Those are the facts.
So all the worries about oncoming economic disaster, all the worries about wide open borders, all the worries about wars in the world, all the worries about safety in our own nation. And what do we care about? Some jokes, right? Some mean tweets, as it were, right? And of course, the argument being made is that, yeah, there's some people out there who agree with Donald Trump on everything, on all of his policies, but some of those mean words, you just can't abide by it, right? I'm not going to vote for him because of that. Who are these people? Were you not around in 2016? They tried all these exact same attacks, and guess what people wanted? The bull in the china shop. They wanted Donald Trump out there with all of his mean tweets and all of his good economic policies, and now that we have to juxtapose that with the Biden-Harris administration, we want it even more. And if there is one criticism I would say here, it's that the Trump campaign, not Trump himself, but the Trump campaign actually did come out and say, we don't agree with those statements. They should have said, you know what? He's a comedian. He has free speech, and we turned him loose on the audience. All right. That's what you should have said. And I kind of wish Byron Donalds would have said the same thing right there. But of course, the left is the party of no fun whatsoever. And honestly, I think that's going to hurt them in the polls, as is pointed out here by Van Jones.
It's sad that we've lost Elon Musk. And I want to point out, 4 years ago, Elon Musk was an Andrew Yang Democrat.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean, he's done great stuff when it comes to climate, when it comes to space, et cetera. And
so was Trump, a Democrat.
Well,
he was.
Yeah, he was. So, yeah. But I just wonder if we look back on this period, there's no excuse for stuff that Elon Musk is doing, stuff he says is irresponsible. But if progressives have a politics that says all white people are racist, all men are toxic, and all billionaires are evil, it's kind of hard to keep them on your side. And so we might want to think about, if you're chasing people out of the party, you can't be mad when they leave. And maybe if we had a different politics, we actually said dignity for everybody, everybody's respected, and we need you, more people might stay.
I honestly get really surprised because every now and then Van Jones will say something that is so correct you have to wonder, why in the world are you on the left? But you're right. Progressives have been chasing out all of the normal people, right? The men, they're toxic. It's patriarchy. The jokes, they're offensive, right? We can't have that. Free speech. Oh no, it's all disinformation, misinformation, and hate speech, right? When you chase people out of your party, you can't be upset when they actually leave and don't want to come back. And that's exactly what's happened to Elon Musk, right? He loves free speech, he loves jokes, and he really is not happy with the trans movement, okay? So when he leaves, how representative is that of other people, and how influential is it as well? And all of this, of course, points to the fact that the left is just simply mad and angry and upset about everything, and they're never going to stop until every ounce of joy and freedom is drained out of this country. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.